How we doing, everyone? So I am here currently in Saudi Arabia. I made it here in one piece. We had a long flight to Turkey, and then from there, a long flight to Saudi Arabia.
I was so hot at the airport. I was like, oh my God, I'm far too fat. But then I looked to my left, and there was a guy sweating profusely.
Bro,
it was hot.
It's a beautiful place. I haven't got out there and experienced too much yet so far, but the people are lovely, very, very polite. I've had some great food. I'm staying in a beautiful hotel. But today we have breaking news. Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. It's still not happening. Jake Paul will be fighting Mike Perry on the original date that Paul was supposed to fight Mike Tyson. July 20th, going down 8 rounds, cruiserweight, which of course is great for Jake Paul because he is naturally the bigger guy. Let's remember, Mike Perry has fought as low as 155 pounds. So he's giving himself all the advantages right now. And I've said this before, if you saw my video last week, he thinks this is another calculated move on his side. He's picking a guy that does have a lot of popularity now. Mike Perry is a real one. He's a brawler. He's a born fighter. He loves to get hit. He loves that feeling of being alive.
Kill this motherfucker! I'm coming for you, Jake! I'm the king of violence!
But he couldn't cut it in the UFC. So therefore, it'll be an easy matchup for him. Jake Paul gets to go out there, continue to fight, keep improving, because every time you have a training camp, you get better and better as a fighter. You learn all about the preparation. You learn about your own body, what works, what doesn't work, the weight cut process and all the rest of it, and just the hours in the gym. Of course, you're going to improve. So he thinks he's going to go out, beat Mike Perry, look like a hero, beat Mike Perry in boxing, which is something that a lot of people haven't been able to do in bare knuckle boxing, and then go on and face Mike Tyson later this year in November. And if you saw my video last week, we don't know if that's going to happen. Listen, the reality is, I think Jake made a mistake. Jake Paul's made a massive mistake. This is another miscalculation. I don't think it's an easy fight for either man, though. You got to give credit to Jake Paul. He's a big lump of a man. He's training hard. He's applying himself. He's making a ton of money. He's got a lot of support, and he's obviously got a lot of great deals in place, and he's doing very well. So fair play to him for that. I can't hate on him too much. I don't hate on him. He's just a bit annoying. But here's what he had to say about the fight with Mike Perry. He said that Mike Perry, he's a proven knockout artist who was shown to be a maniac in and out of the ring. This is the perfect experience for me to gain in advance of facing Mike Tyson. But getting that experience comes with a risk. Those who know me, they know that I'm a risk taker. And while Platinum Mike Perry might try to end me, I'm Titanium Jake Paul. And I fear no man. Fair play. Fair play. You know, he's going out there. He's trying to test himself. He's trying to make some money ultimately. But Mike Perry is not exactly
A pussy.
far from it, right? And he is a maniac. And I love that about Mike Perry. But Mike Perry's a real one. He's definitely authentic. You definitely know where you stand with somebody like Mike Perry. And he's going to come at you. Simple as that. When that fight starts, Mike Perry will go at Jake Paul.
We're going to fucking war, bitch!
And Jake Paul will probably go at him. And they're going to swing. And it's not going to be the prettiest, most attractive bout of boxing that you'll ever see in your life. It's not going to be a Floyd Mayweather in there. No. But it's going to be 2 brawlers, 2 bruisers, 2 guys throwing down. And that suits Mike Perry. However, Jake Paul's bigger. And Jake Paul's not bad. I know I shit on him a lot. And I kind of take the piss. You know, but it's only because of this stance that he's going to fight Canelo one day. And he's chipping off the old legends. You know, but all that aside, fair play to him. He's still fighting. He's honing his craft. He's getting better. And he's competing in a sport that he loves. Okay? And Mike Perry, you know, whilst I said he's making a huge mistake, you got to give him respect for that. He's going after Mike Perry. Yeah. All right. Maybe he thinks that it's a tailor-made matchup because he is smaller and because Mike Perry has a name and because Mike Perry has done big things in bare knuckle boxing. Bare knuckle boxing and boxing are very different. They're not the same sport. Yes, it's 2 hands. It's a left and a right. Okay, you know, uppercuts, whatever you want to call it. But there's different technicalities. There's different kind of shots. There's different ways of blocking and defending and parrying and all the rest of it. So it's not quite the same thing. And Jake Paul is by far the bigger man. Okay, but hey, fair play. You know, because he doesn't want to wait around on the sidelines waiting for Mike Tyson. Because the reality is Mike Tyson might not make it to the ring. You know, you never know. He might have another medical emergency. He might lose enthusiasm. A doctor might advise him against it. Not the Mike Tyson that we all know and love. I think he's going to do everything he can to show up, but you just don't know. As you go through a training camp at 58 years old, the body might break.
Back is broken. Spinal.
He might tear a ligament. He might break his hand. Who knows what it could be? It could be one of a million things that goes wrong in a training camp. He could break his jaw in training. He might break his nose. As I said, just the bones as they're getting older might not stand it. You know, that kind of pressure that you need to put on your body to go through a training camp, he might not be able to enjoy that. So if he was to wait around until November, well, he'd be doing that for nothing. And he's in his prime, and he's at the peak of his earning powers. But if he loses to Mike Perry, that fight with Mike Tyson might never materialize. Anyway, listen, fair play. Best of luck to Mike Perry. Hope you go out there and get it done, brother. And, you know, Jake Paul, fair play. You know, it is what it is. I know I always like to shit at him a little bit, but that's only for a bit of fun and games, really. To be honest, yeah, it bothers me that he chips off all these legends when they're old and they're past the prime. And, of course, fighting Mike Tyson should be ashamed of himself. But Mike Perry is a young dude. He's in his prime. He's not the same weight, but he's a brawler. He's a real fighter, that's for damn sure. So fair play to both men. As I said, I am currently in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Big fight card this weekend. Robert Whittaker taking on Ikram Aliskerov. Robert Whittaker, one of my favourite fighters. I love watching him compete and just everything about him. The vibe from Robert Whittaker. He's a born fighter. He's a natural competitor. He's super skilled, very, very athletic, and he is a monster. And he's a man on a mission to become the champion of the world again. Taking on Ikram Aliskerov, 15-1. The only loss to Khamzat Chimaev. But don't let that fool you. That doesn't mean that this man isn't a dangerous threat. He might even be a tougher fight for Robert than what Khamzat Chimaev might have been.
I understand the type of fight it's going to be. In some ways, it could be harder than Chimaev, but I'm fit, I'm ready, and I'm loaded to get this done.
Let's remember, Islam Makhachev only lost one fight. And look at him right now. A lot of people have him as the pound-for-pound greatest guy on the planet. Who else is on the card? Of course, it is the return of Sergey Pavlovich. Sergey Pavlovich is probably, well, he's one of the most feared heavyweights that we've ever seen in the UFC. Of course, last time he lost to Tom Aspinall in 69 seconds. But he feels that, you know, he wasn't training for Tom, he wasn't ready for Tom, and he made some mistakes. He's taking on Alexander Volkov, another huge Russian heavyweight, another striker, another guy with knockout power, a guy that just submitted Taito Avasa. But before he submitted him, you know, he gave him a bit of a hiding on the feet, followed him down to the ground, got in the mount, and worked a whole mixed martial arts game. So Volkov's really good as well. And these two used to be sparring partners for a couple of years as well. So they know each other very, very well. So I'm excited for that one. Opening up the main card, we have Brazil's Johnny Walker, and he's taking on Volkan Oezdemir. Now, Johnny Walker, he lost to Magomed Ankalaev. He shot to stardom pretty quickly because of his crazy viral knockout, spinning back fist, flying knees, and all the rest of it. He stepped up in competition. He kind of fell short, but he's wild. He's kind of an untamed beast. And since he linked up with John Kavanagh...
So here we are. Johnny still has his gloves on. Didn't get a chance to get changed.
At SBG in Ireland, they're trying to tame that beast. They're trying to control it a little bit. So there's a bit more calculation. There's a bit more method to the madness. But you don't want to tame it too much. You still want to be a beast inside the octagon, and Johnny Walker always will be. But Volkan Oezdemir is a tough test for anyone. Volkan Oezdemir fought for the belt against Daniel Cormier, and he's been in there with nothing but the best. I mean, if you look at the record of Volkan Oezdemir, as I say, he fought Daniel Cormier. He beat Jimmy Manuwa, Misha Serkinov, or Vincent Prue when he first signed. Lost to DC, lost to Anthony Smith, lost to Dominic Reyes. Who else has he been in there with? Beat Alexander Rakic, lost to Yuri Prohaska, lost to Magomed Ankalaev, beat Paul Craig, and beat Bogdan Guskov. So no stranger to fighting at the highest level. Top to bottom, a great card. Shara Bullet, my brother from another mother in some respects. He's competing against Anthony Tricoli. And Kelvin Gastelum will be fighting Daniel Rodriguez. Quick note on that one. Kelvin Gastelum, the last guy that I fought, on very short notice after I'd just been choked out against George St. Pierre and had no business being there. Little disclaimer, but he got me. He's had a great career. He had that amazing war with Israel Adesanya, almost beat him. But he struggled with the scales on more than one occasion. Was at 170, went back up to 185. Now he's back down at 170. Well, now this fight has been forced up to 185 pounds because he couldn't make 170. So they've had to change it. Daniel Rodriguez wanted a catch weight. He couldn't make 180. So it's got to be at 185. So that makes you wonder about Kelvin Gastelum. Is he taking this fight seriously? Has he done the necessary work? Because we know that Daniel Rodriguez has. Because he's done a 13-week training camp to get ready for this because he recognises a win over Kelvin Gastelum would do big, big things for his career. So there it is. Saturday, live from Saudi Arabia. It'll be me, DC, John Anik, and a tremendous fight card from top to bottom. So tune in, check it out, subscribe, ring the bell, and I'll see you soon.